Well, good evening and welcome to this Wednesday, December 16th edition of the Island Stat Sports Show. I'm your host, Earl Basin, and joining me is co-host Jason Juggling J. Ford. Well, Jay, we have a packed evening of sports talk this evening. We will be joined shortly by the president and head coach of the Bermuda Boxing Federation to talk about, obviously, they just finished the AIBA Congress, and of course what they have planned for 2021 and moving forward. And then at the bottom of the hour, we're going to be joined by national women coaches of the Bermuda Football Association to talk about the opportunity that we have been presented. We around the region have been presented with two women's national senior team events CONCACAF have put on the front burner to encourage young ladies to stay within the sport. But first of all, obviously, we want to be talking about things that have happened already in sports. We know since our last show, there's been a significant amount of talk about young Johnny Bertrell making his debut for Bournemouth. We've also had a host of players play Saturday, Sunday, Sunday, and including last night in football. There's been a significant amount of announcements made with cricket. Bermuda is set to play several International World Cup qualifiers in 2021. We know two men's tournaments will be back-to-back, senior men's tournament and the under-19s as well. But there's been a lot happening, Jay. What has kind of taken you not by surprise, but what has raised your eyebrows?
Well, I tell you, Earl, anytime you got a young Bermudian professional or a youngster making their debut, it's always special. Earl. That's always a proud moment, not only for the family, but also as a Bermudian. You know, to see it on your television screen, and see the youngster come on, and especially if you have any ties to the youngster or the family. You know, I do know the father quite well. He's a Tottenham Hotspur fan, so you know. I don't think he's too happy about today's result, but anyway. But no, it's always nice just to keep a check on our fellow Bermudians around the world and whatever they do, and when they get to those achievements, because you know he's been there for a minute, and you know it was to see the interview with him afterwards. He was totally surprised, obviously up until the day before, and then to actually know that he was going to actually come on the field. I don't think that was even in the thought process of just the fact that he was making the bench and then to warm up. But you know what? Just think about it, Earl. How long has he even been trying to vision this? Because, you know, especially at this age, and especially in the professional sense of it, a lot of coaches, a lot of sports psychiatrists will say, look, you got to see yourself in the moment. So when the moment comes, you know, you're not, overwhelmed. So just thinking about all the training sessions or nights going home and thinking, you know, when's that game or how it's going to feel or this, you know, all those little things that go through your head. You know, do you score the last winning goal? All those different things go through your head, and you know, just to see it all play out, man, it was a warm feeling.
Yeah, I think what's one of the most important things as well is we have to make sure that we are encouraging them when they're in the youth divisions, especially our youngsters, because one might not get that opportunity, but you have to realize that if we're not going to give them their due while they're working the way towards there, everybody wants to be at the finish line, and that's where I feel we cheat our athletes sometimes. We wait until they get to the finish line, and then all of a sudden everybody wants to write a story, everybody wants to say I know the family, everybody wants to say I know this, everybody wants to say I know that. But what about the challenge to get there?
The journey.
And that's where the story is told. Johnny's been applying his trade as a youngster in the under-18s for Bournemouth.
Yeah, and you know what we keep saying is punching way over his weight. Way over.
And the same thing for young Remy Coddington. He's at West Ham. He's following the same line in which young Nathan Trott followed at West Ham, because they're actually playing ages up as opposed to playing in their age group, because the coaches and the manager see something in them that could push them along. And not saying they're the only ones at the club doing it, but they see something in these young men that would allow them to play up and get that exposure and get the opportunity to go into the senior team. And Johnny has just started his journey on that part of it, but the journey has been a long and a hard one. I'm pretty sure it has been, because he left here as a wee boy, as they say, as a wee boy, and has now become this household name because of his latest accomplishment.
But
And
I'm glad you said latest, because Earl, it takes a lot. And one thing about sports, or you hear people say a lot of times, it has potential. You know what I say when it comes to potential? Potential don't mean nothing if you're not ready for the moment, and
Right.
and sometimes you just don't know when it's going to happen. So let's look at the league itself. Well, due to COVID, all right, this league are using 5 substitutes.
Yep.
So any other year, he probably would have never even made the bench because of would have been a smaller squad, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So here it is. Now you got 5 substitutes. Now, out of those 5 substitutes, you had some extra injuries in your squad.
Yeah. That's why he didn't make the squad last night, because the guys that were injured that would have been in the squad on Saturday were now back available, and the coach looked at it and said, "You know what? Because these guys are contracted players, I have to," and we have to understand that as because a lot of people would have said, "Well, why wasn't he in the team if he had the chance to come on?" Obviously, he's still in the academy. They don't want to rush him. They want to make sure. And this season, again, is a long season with those 5 substitutes.
And it's not, we get caught up as a fanatic, as a fan. But remember, it is a business.
Thank you kindly.
It is a business. So as much as you might want this, that, and the other, we don't know the dollars and cents of the situation, whether it's regarding with him, whether it's regarding with the coach, whether it's regarding other players.
The one thing that we have to say, because that's a vital point, is remember, if a guy has been injured, I'm paying him while he's not playing. Yes. If he's fit and I'm paying him, I have to utilize him. There's no way my chairman's going to allow me to have Jay not in the team and Jay is fit. That's what I brought you for. That's what I told you I needed him for. So why is he not playing? Those are the type of things that's the business side of football that a lot of people have to understand.
The other thing is, a lot of people don't realize sometimes that opportunity could be also a business move for the club to put them in the shopping window, as they would say.
Well, yes.
Now you give everybody a chance to see what you've got, whether they come for a loan or whatever the case may be. But that sometimes, coaches would do that, put a young player, give them a start to put them in the shopping window. And also to help drive up the price, because obviously they're gonna think, well, you're thinking very highly of this youngster to put him in your first team. He's got to have so now everybody gets to see this. They do their research, and who knows what comes out of that. So the business it has multi layers of it.
How many years ago did we see Everton do that with Wayne Rooney?
Oh yes.
He had the ability, but they knew they would make more money by putting him in the window, letting him play, and selling him than they would keeping him, because they were in a position that they knew the rest of the team, they weren't going to win the league. But if somebody really wanted this rare talent, they were going to pay, and that's what happened. They paid. So they were now able, out of that money, to buy other players, which they couldn't afford before, to make the team as strong as they could possibly make it. And if you look at it, they haven't been down since they sold it.
Once again, we see, as fans, we think about the individual. It's about this team.
Yeah.
And the club.
Yeah. The club. So true. It's we look at so many different things, because all we do as fans is turn on the television and the game comes on. We hear the referee blow the whistle and the game's underway. But we're not into the business of going behind the scenes to see, okay, who trained? How did they train? You know, how many people go online and listen to their manager's press conferences the day before the game?
Yeah.
Because those interviews will tell you what the manager's thinking, who's available, who's doing what's, you know, all of that, because they reveal it all in those press conferences. But how many people take the time as a fan to do that?
Well, a lot of times we just think these athletes are robots, you know?
Well, yeah.
And you, like I say, you push a button and they automatically work. These guys have families, so they might have home issues. These guys can also catch colds. They can also have an upset stomach. All these different things that happens to each and every one of us. The problem is with in the sport that everybody gets to know what's happening. So sometimes the coach might say, you know what, we've got to keep him out because he hasn't been training with us all week due to a stomach virus or whatever the case may be. And we got to make sure that he gets his, especially on the sports medicine side of it, got to make sure he's hydrated for this game or this, that, and the other. Sometimes you might say, you know what, we're going to have to bring you off the bench because we don't think you're in your fitness. No, I think the last time we saw him, he was okay.
Yeah. You know, we just get caught up in the actual game itself. We actually get caught up in the sport itself because so many things go on around sports that we're not even privy to, you know.
But you know what? We've been privy to a lot more information in this age, and I'll tell you, a lot of people don't realize because not just the media, but we're privy to a lot more information now because of the betting.
Yes.
That's why they tell us. That's why the coaches are obligated to have these press conferences before. Don't think it's to tell the next team your tactics. Okay, that is not it.
No,
that is to let the person who's getting ready to bet on the game give
what your odds are.
Yes, that is it. You know that. I know that. Okay? So once again, I keep saying follow the money because that's the reason why we get these press conferences regarding those things.
Yeah. I did say at the top we were going to be joined by the president of the Bermuda Boxing Federation, and that is Nathan Dill, and he is joining us. Good evening, Nathan. How are you?
He's back.
You need to unmute your mic.
Yes.
Okay.
For somebody who spends my days now on Zoom and Google Classroom, you shouldn't have had to say that to me. Good night, Earl. Good night, Jay.
Good night, Guy.
Good night. Well, obviously, you know, it was a weekend of events for you online, just like in school, but online. You guys got through the elections. You have a new president. How did you feel at the end of the 2 days of the AIBA conference?
Thank you. And again, thank you, Earl, for keeping your ear to what's going on with boxing. We very much appreciate your effort and your support as well as you, Jason, and the rest of Bermuda. So the conference was not on Bermuda time. We had to get up at 7 a.m., so I was getting calls at 6 o'clock. I got my call from my candidate representative at 6:40 a.m. the first day, just to remind me and make sure that I wasn't having any challenges logging in, just checking in on you and seeing if you're okay, seeing if everything is working out for you. Good politics, I can say, definitely good politics. He had a secretary call us. I said, nope, I set my alarm. All's well. I've tested the platform. All is well. The day of the first day of conference was only for the presidential vote. So that happened from 7 a.m. on Saturday, December 12th, until 10 a.m. The invigilator, I want to call him, I'm using a school term, but yeah, the invigilator was from a law firm. They had international observers. They had a panel of lawyers, a panel of university professors. Like, I really felt like I was in an election, like, again, a presidential election. They spent some time explaining the process of the vote, the voting system. We used a website called Lumi, and the executives from Lumi were there present at the meeting to explain how the voting platform worked, and we done a test run of that, and ultimately we got to the candidate speeches. Now, in the background, the night before, we had a meeting with the rest of the Caribbean. A little background information. I did tell you that there was one that split away from the group and did not follow the line of the group. Unfortunately, there is some splits in the Caribbean region. Of course, it's politics. Because of that, I wasn't very confident of sharing my point of view or my candidate. But the Jose Rosario, who helped me out and helped Bermuda out, and I have high regards to, he said, look, guys, it's 16 of us. Let's go around. Let us know, let the group know who your candidate is and why, and so that, you know, we can kind of be unified and share information. But a couple of people did, and I remained purposely silent. I said, this is, you know, you don't, you know what I mean? You don't put your card on the table. You don't lay your Benny on the table. Not you don't reveal Trump before it's your time.
Right.
So I purposely stayed quiet, and he ran on for a couple of minutes saying, look, you guys, we have to have unity. I know there's people that's uncomfortable saying, because I said to him, I said the night before, because of the events that happened with the disciplinary commission and whatnot, I said, listen, I'm going to have to pull back from you guys. You, Jose, you have my support. David Christopher, you have my support. Layla, I called individual people and I said, look, you have my individual support, but as a group, I'm not really feeling it right now. I'm not really feeling the unity. I don't know if I mentioned, but part of my WhatsApp conversation between myself and the rest of the disciplinary committee, the rest of the Caribbean presidents, this private group chats, part of it was shared and sent to the disciplinary committee. So when I had my hearing with them, they pulled up my words in the group chat. And he caught me off guard with it, but I ultimately said, yes, that was me, and I stand by what comments I made. But because of that, I was a little bit gun shy about the unity of the Caribbean. And we spoke last time about the English speaking being unified. Yeah. So I did not share my candidate that night. Ultimately, I will tell you, and I'll end with this part, my candidate did win the election. So
okay.
I was on the right side of the fence with my with my candidate of choice.
Okay. All right. Well, moving rather quickly because we do have other guests coming on at the bottom of the hour. In 2021, you set yourselves an agenda to do some positive things. Regardless of where COVID has us right now, we still have to plan. We still have to have something put out for the future. Where can we see the Bermuda Boxing Federation going and putting on things in 2021, especially in an Olympic year?
Yes. So I just had a little impromptu meeting with my event manager, Melissa Luby, who also works on our strategic plan. You know, we communicate all the time. She called me, she's like, blah, blah, this is what we need to do. Ultimately, this time gives us an opportunity to do a lot of forward planning. And we plan to do a 2021-2025 strategic plan. So that's going to outline our goals, vision, objectives for the next 5 years. In addition to that, I spoke to my awesome secretary, Shaquita Simmons. She is going to be our manager for 2 trips that we plan. The first trip will be in perhaps end of January, early February, and that will be a training trip. Our national coach, technical director, Jamal Goofy Woolridge, is going to take Levin and Adrian out to Canada just to get them training there. Again, they have been inactive, unfortunately, for the entire shutdown due to COVID. The Olympic qualifier has been pushed back to now May. And I only found that out because unfortunately I wasn't in the meeting. So I found that information out, just now when I reached out to Melissa, who had attended the IOC meeting on our behalf. And I got that it's being pushed back, which does good for us because it gives us a little additional time to prepare and get ready. So the plan is to get Adrian and Levin as many fights as we can, but that does require them to travel internationally. And of course, the challenge is Canada, where we prefer to go and travel and do our training camp. We're not sure if their borders are going to be open and available for us to go out there. But we do plan to go on a training trip in January, end of January, and we do also plan to attend the qualifier in Argentina in now May.
Okay, all right. So obviously, in the short term, we have a plan. We have goals and ambitions. It's just a matter of COVID assisting us in ensuring that these guys get the opportunity.
Absolutely. I'm praying that we are able to move on. In the interim, we are doing a lot of infrastructure stuff. We're looking at investing in some more capital equipment that would enhance our product when we host the next event. We're feeling like people are anxious to get back to normal, and we want to. Bermuda boxing has always been held to a high standard when we host events. We've had great feedback from some of our partners, Fairmount Southampton, PTX. We've had great feedback from them, and they're looking forward to working with us again as well. So we're going to spend some time looking at our capital equipment, our infrastructure, what do our events look like, and just see how much of that stuff we can actually do in-house just to enhance the product that we know that the boxing fans in Bermuda already enjoy.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to, once we turn that corner, 2021, getting and you solidify the dates and the travel and all. What do you know what categories these guys are trying to qualify in for the Olympics?
Oh, absolutely. I may not be able to call the weight category, but Levin will be attempting to fight at 152, which is the amateur AIBA welterweight, and Adrian will fight at 141, which is light welterweight. So those are the 2 weight categories, and unfortunately, they are the toughest weight categories with most candidates in them. We know that if we got a heavyweight, there's only 8 people in the field. So we know that if we got a female, there's only 8 people and eight women in the field. So we're also looking at the long-term athlete development and making sure that next time around we can have a athlete from each weight category, including females, that will increase our likelihood of getting the podium.
Yeah. My last question before Jay, do you have any questions?
Yeah. From the association side of things, how are you guys, obviously with the COVID this year, how are you guys working on with our local gyms on some of your new initiatives going into 2021? I'm pretty sure they've been faced with many challenges.
Yeah. So I can say we have a pretty good relationship with most of the GMs. We're in a group chat, and I aim to send them communication daily, rather it's just an update on one small thing. So this has been a challenge in that, I have to do all my connection through email or WhatsApp versus being able to have that casual conversation of, oh, hey, by the way, this is what happened. That's how most people operate. So for me to put everything through a WhatsApp or through an email, it's kind of distant, and we're kind of struggling with that. We have to do a better, I can say Bermuda Boxing has to do a better job in supporting the GMs through the COVID crisis. So we're looking at things like assisting them with temperature thermometers, signage, little things like that, that I realized that we kind of left it to the GMs to sort out for themselves, because no excuse for my lack of vision on this, but it hit so fast, and it really was something that it was like, oh well, yeah, like I see you guys need this, so let's help you out with it. We want to make sure that the GMs just focus on the boxing, and our goal is to try to ease up the administration for them. But with the COVID rules and guidelines, we actually put more administrative tasks on the GM, unfortunately. So all in all, it has been a major challenge in working with the GMs, although we're looking to do better to support the GMs in their efforts.
All right. Well, again, Nathan, thank you very much for enlightening us on the outcome of the weekend, as well as the future of the very near future of Bermuda Boxing, and our ambitions to try and qualify for the Olympics for the two young men, Vince Tota and Adrian Roach as well. So we'll stay in touch, and anything new coming up, feel free to give me a shout, or I'll be giving you a shout.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Earl. Thank you, Jay, and thank you, Bermuda, for supporting Bermuda Boxing.
All right. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by the coaches of the women's national football team on our return.
We've already sung the praises of Welch's famous grape juice, so healthful and refreshing, a truly great family favorite. So with the festive season fast approaching, remember to stock up on Welch's sparkling juice cocktails, flavorful and thirst-quenching, another celebration of the greatness of the grape. The Welch's white, red, and rosé are all wonderful on their own, but for a special seasonal treat, try Welch's sparkling juice cocktail in festive punch recipes, garnished with cinnamon sticks or fresh cranberries. All non-alcoholic and also festive. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
And welcome back. We do have with us one of the national coaches, Vance Brown. Good day. Good evening, Mr. Brown. How are you?
Good evening. How you doing?
We're wonderful. Good to see you. I know you, like your counterparts, would have been excited with the news just the other day from CONCACAF with, well, you wouldn't have been excited because now it's more work. But the fact that the women's senior national team has two commitments next year, dealing with CONCACAF, the region, and also Coach Kita has joined us as well. Good evening, Coach Kita.
Good evening.
I know you guys have been working very hard over and the final one. Good evening, Mr. Dinkins.
Okay.
Evening. How you doing?
Okay. All right. So I know you guys have been working extremely hard for a number of years on the women's side of football to help grow the sport in Bermuda, and the fact that we've gotten so much accolades through the women internationally. But this next venture that CONCACAF has just released, how much of it now speeds up what you guys had planned over the years? I know, Coach Kita, you talked about a 7-year plan, but now that this commitment that CONCACAF have put in place, how much does it speed up the process a little bit?
Earl, just before you go, do you know the score of the Liverpool game today?
Oh, for God so lovely. Wow, what serious?
Oh no, I haven't. I don't. And
Who cares?
thank you. That's for another show and another person, but I don't even care.
I was just getting ready for Ian for Monday.
Oh, don't worry about it. Ian's out.
So the only time I was happy that they won, actually.
Oh.
Slow Mourinho down a bit.
Yeah.
But to answer the question is, it does speed things up, but it doesn't, because we've been in this preparation for quite some time now. The good part about it is that the three of us have been on this journey for the duration. There's nobody on the island in the world who knows this group of girls as a group better than we do. So yes, it speeds up the process to an extent, but we always knew something was coming. So we've been preparing for this something that's coming. We're in a really good spot with this senior team based off of the experience that the younger teams have had. With Vance winning the championship, the under 15s winning the championship, then Dankins, the under 17s, going to the championship. That group of players are now senior women eligible and will now merge with the already talented seniors that we have. So this right now is a great spot for us to be in. So to answer that, yes, it does speed up the process, but it's a process that we've been in all this time anyway.
You guys tend to work well together. I know everybody's got a style, everybody's got a way of doing things. But Vance, let me ask you, how do you guys off the field work it out so once you get on the field, no matter how you deliver the message, it always seems to come around the same way for everyone?
A lot of Tylenol. But, we have our discussions, we have our disagreements. But when we go on the field, we have to be one unit so that everything works, to plan. Coach Keita might have an idea, and Coach Jenkins might, think it's good, and I might not. But once we get on the field, we all work, and that's not to say that I don't agree with them sometimes, because we all have spots in agreeing and disagreeing. But once we hit that field, once we get to those players, it has to be all together. We all work together.
And Aaron, for you, it would appear that you have the passion and the drive to get to these young ladies as well. How difficult is it being from, well, you've always coached women, the young girls, but how difficult is it to coach the young girls as opposed to young men for you?
For me, like you said, my path started with girls football. It was a natural progression over to the male side. But for me, girls are more receptive to criticism. They're more receptive to information. As males, we have this inner ego thing. So I mean, that's the real big difference. These are a good group of girls. Like Coach said, Coach Keita said, and most people don't know that these girls are training year round. We don't come off the field. So the girls that were in U15, they jump right up to U17. So it's always a tournament year for these girls. So we're on the field almost every month, in tournament mode. So credit to the girls on island and the ones who, when they do come home, they come right into training. But we've had this group since they were U15s. Now they're women. So they've been training together, getting chemistry, learning us for a long time.
It would have been, I mean, some of the young ladies would have kind of been disappointed hearing that the qualifiers for under 17s and all that would have been postponed due to COVID and everything. But now having something else to aspire to, how easy is it for you guys now to motivate these girls to say, listen, there's something at the end of the tunnel when you get to that point?
Well, the thing is, I was for your question for Aaron, I was gonna say the difficulty is coaching the boys is the easy part coaching the girls. You had your question was flipped, sir. But to motivate them, as Aaron says, we train year round, right? If we have a group of girls, we have a nucleus of players that get it, that understand that there's always going to be something that we're going to be playing in or playing for. So it's yeah, they were deflated, like bummer. But it is not going to be difficult to get them back up and running, because they're always in that space. Like the nucleus of this group is always in that space. So we have some seniors that we're training with these under 17 girls in anticipation of, you know what, something is coming. And I will tell you, it's a lot easier with girls. And I've never coached boys. Vance and Aaron now have that wonderful job of coaching senior men. So more power to them. My Uncle Shervin has asked me that question a million times, and I think I've told him no 1,000,001 times, and one just in case he decides to ask again. But that's the great part about the girls. It's that they want to. Like, they haven't given us any problems, you know, the nucleus of them, for training year-round, because they get it, you know. So Vance, Aaron can probably add to that part, as to the motivation of those girls, you know.
So actually, Vance's thing about the Tylenol was for the boys and not for the girls.
Yeah.
Oh no, we hey, and before you go, I'm sorry, Vance.
Sorry.
We previously, like, we've had our battles. Like, we outright don't agree. Me personally wasn't even trying to understand, didn't want to. I'm a Taurus, that's just me. But I can tell you this right now, is probably the best I've ever felt, knowing that the three of us are gonna take this journey together. You know, I can honestly say that I am so optimistic about what these guys are gonna add to me. And Vance is because Vance coached me. First ever international tour, I ever play football. Vance is my coach. You know, so that's a lot of experience there, right? I see that Coach Dankins brings a lot of some stuff that's with the boys. It's coming again because I don't have that experience. So right now I'm a sponge, like, and I'm absorbing a lot from these two. I honestly, God, it's now, football used to consume me before. Now it's the first thing I think about. It's like, okay, what am I going to talk to these guys about today? How are they going to inspire me today? And every time I have conversations with them, it's something else. And I'm like, yes, okay. You know, and I'll say, with the 17s, Coach Angus has done a lot of stuff with them moving the ball, playing out of the back, and moving forward. And it's gotten to such a really almost a well-oiled machine. It's like, I told him, I don't even want to touch it because I don't want to mess that up. You know what? Take that. No, let's develop that. Let's move that on to the next group now so that they get it. You know, I'm thinking about players in other positions. It's the stuff, but like, this is exciting now, and I've never ever felt as motivated as I am at this moment. Knowing that, you know, I'm gonna have these guys to work with.
Let's clarify. I started coaching when I was young due to an injury. So I've been coaching a long time.
And you're still young.
I'm still young. Yes. I'm still getting injuries. But no, I think, you know, like coaches have said, from the under 15s, these group of girls seem to always hungry for football. The senior bunch, the senior girls, they are hungry for football. So bringing the two groups together, you know, it's our hope, and, you know, to marry the two. And so we've got a full group that's hungry for football and ready to hit the ground rolling. It's just, you know, an advantage for the team concept to have everybody wanting to play football.
Jay?
Hey guys, yeah, I'm just talking about the team concept. Who is the one, or how you guys are managing expectations, not only for the teams, but also to get these girls to understand expectations when it comes to fans? Because a lot of times, as a casual fan, you know, you have a fan that just wants to jump on the bandwagon when you guys are doing good. Obviously, you've been punching way above your weight in the last few years. So who's actually helping out to manage the expectations for the team itself and also for the fans?
We have
I have my idea.
Sorry, go coach.
No, I have my idea. You guys can go ahead. You guys can talk.
In the National Academy, we have a sports, what you call him, sports psychologist, Martin Wolf, who does an excellent job in, keeping the girls, the coaching staff grounded. Is always on us to do better and to make sure that we are meeting the expectations of the girls and managing their expectations. So for me, that as well as we've been with them so long that I think that they feed off of us. I can speak about the under 15s when we played in the final in IMG. We didn't even have a pregame talk. We just played Proud to be Bermudian for about 10 minutes. Look, go on the field and win the game. That was the way I felt that we were going to win that game. I think that infused into the players. They bought into what we done to get them to that level.
For me, it's a combination of a few things. So, like you said, this journey started with the U15s. I want to say in 2012, maybe. And the tournaments that we've entered, we've always been away. So we played in hostile Haiti, we played in hostile Jamaica. So these girls are pretty much seasoned. They're young, but they've had a lot of international experience away from home. And then to play the U20 tournament at home, it was a good experience for them. So they've experienced the highs and the lows of it. I remember particularly in Haiti, not when we played Haiti, but when we played other teams in Haiti, the Haitian crowd was for us. Even when we went to Puerto Rico, the Puerto Ricans were for us. So they're used to crowds, they're used to the ups and downs, they're used to it all.
You had your view, Coach Keeton?
Well, these guys obviously they touched on it, especially with Coach Dankin saying that most of our games have been away. And a lot of times we have been our own fans. So as he said, the girls, it's a little different with women, guys. We play to play. We will play in front of one fan, the same way we will play in front of 100,000 fans, right? So for the girls, it's the field. They don't have to. They don't need that fan push, so to speak. If you think about Bermuda, though, I think Bermuda's probably one of the only countries where the players get the fans riled up. Anywhere else you go, before the players even touch the field, the crowd is crazy, right? So our girls have that mindset too. They're like, we're gonna play. We're gonna do what it is that we came to do because this is what we do. So girls and fans, it's a little different. But we've managed it all this time. And as you said, we've played in some pretty hostile environments where, even when Coach Vance had us done in Trinidad, we was playing in Trinidad, it was horrible. Fans were there. We played Haiti, we played Jamaica, and we played Trinidad. It was tough, right? But this group of girls they've managed some stuff. You're talking about a group that's played USA twice. Some of them, they played Canada. They were about to go play Mexico. So they're ready for this. They're ready for whatever is going to come.
Yeah. What we're going to do, we're going to take a quick commercial break. But when we come back, we're going to talk about some of these standout players who are applying their trade abroad, whether it be in school or over in the UK or over in Europe, that you guys will have to be relying on, especially initially come 2021. We'll be right back.
Coconut oil has been popular here in Bermuda as a skin moisturizer for generations, but is sometimes avoided in cookery because of its unhealthy reputation. We've witnessed a change in attitudes as recent findings indicate that coconut oil is actually heart healthy and can enhance our immune system, increase metabolism, energy and endurance, and improve digestion. Nutiva coconut oil is a superfood in its own right, and this month we're featuring Nutiva organic shortening made with organic coconut and red palm oils and also hemp seed oil. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
And welcome back. Obviously, the young ladies are making names for themselves throughout the world of football, albeit you have Leilani that was at Florida State winning a championship. You had the likes of Aaliyah Nerlin playing in England. Sheila playing in England. You had Eva playing over in Sweden. So they're getting experience. You have young Kenny Thompson playing in Spain. So they're getting experience and exposure of playing elsewhere, playing in different environments, playing in different styles. How do you guys look at that when they come back to put them back into what you want to get out of them in the system that you play in?
Sorry. Obviously they will be all playing in different places. And that's natural, right? The good thing for us is that they are overseas playing, and we will be reaching out and we will be casting a net, to capture as many of those players that are immersed in a football environment consistently. We've had the conversation before. We're all part-time coaches, and the good thing about it though is that our local players aren't far off from the overseas players once everyone gets together. So yes, we will be doing work behind the scenes. We will be reaching out. We'll be having conversations and hoping that they see where this is heading and how they can leave a legacy. Because this isn't something that's going to be for 1 or 2 years. This is a decade worth of football that these girls can be playing. So getting them, first of all, to agree that they will come and be a part of this is step one. After that, we're sure that we will get them to buy into what it is that we're playing, the style that we're going to play, and we want to help them to understand that they will be an asset. Any coach will want to have the likes of a Kenny Thompson, Leilani Nesbitt, Nia Christopher, Leah Nerlin, Kiana Dill is also playing. Trinae Edwards is also out there playing. So there's this is new as well for us. Having so many players playing senior football. Yeah, we've had the prep schools, we've had the colleges, but now to have the next step, because that's obviously the next step, right? To have them playing senior football, it's a definite bonus for us. Vance, Aaron, I think you can add to that somehow.
No, I think you captured it, most of it. It just be excitement to come back and see their growth, for us to see their growth and in the development of their personal gains, to enhance the team performance, to make the team that much better.
The
That's
good
it.
thing for me is that outside of Kenny, all of the girls have been with us since they were like 12. So for them to fit in with the team, they're already brought into the coaches already. So when they come home, it's just practice as normal. They just fill in. They trust us. Parents trust us. They trust each other. So it's easy. Oh,
Okay.
and to say Aaliyah is playing at the mighty Leeds United.
I had to get Liverpool. Now I got to deal with Leeds. Like, seriously? Can we just keep this about? Can we just keep this about the women's national team?
And the good thing is she's scoring. She's scoring.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I was like, Earl, when you said Aaliyah, I was like, okay, yeah, Earl, yeah. I was waiting for. I knew it was coming.
The thing is, most of these girls, and Aaron has pointed it out, that they've been with you, with the exception of Kenny, for quite some time. But most of these girls are playing abroad in these similar positions. So how will that kind of materialize once you guys get them into your system? Because now we're talking about goal scorers from wide. You see Kiana's playing wide for Norwich, Norwich City. Aaliyah's playing wide. Kashela's playing wide. It's so much you have, and of course, and so is Eva. So you have so much talent at your fingertips now. You guys are going to have a lot of work to do in the back room before you get out even out on the field.
And that work has started.
I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you.
That work definitely started. Coach Keita, as soon as it got announced, started throwing names at us. Look, what do you think? What do you think position wise? I mean, it's exciting for everybody to, like you said, mature at one time. And, this tournament's going to get everybody and the fight for positions is going to be awesome. The depth is I've never coached a team or been in a team with this much depth and experience and threats. You know, it's good.
The versatility is amazing, right? Because as you say, you know, Kiana for us is a right back.
Yeah.
But Kiana's playing wide now, but so now we can merge the two. She can be an overlapping fullback, or we just push Kiana up the field now, and it allows another younger player maybe or someone else who hasn't had the opportunity to come in now and show that they can claim a spot in the defensive position. Having an Aaliyah Nolan that can play 7, 11, 9, 10, 8, you know, it's a great headache to have. So it's not gonna be where we're like, you know what I mean? It's gonna be such a good feeling and knowing that you got this 11 on the field, and I look down the bench and see another group that no matter who comes on the field, like that's where we're at right now. But it's what we built to get her. You know what I mean? It's the football side, yes, but it's all the other stuff. You know, it's off the field. It's a joke that they serve Coach Vance. You know, to some it's Papa Vance, and it has nothing to do with the fact that it's always just Papa Vance, right? And then you have you know, there's just different things that we have built and developed, you know, as a coaching team. Yeah, Vance, you can add to it as far as what you see. Yeah.
No, I'm very excited to be, you know, to be a part, excuse me, from seeing the girls come through the program, playing through different teams, and now to get in a proper senior competition, you know, Birds Vow, and to make this team is not going to be easy because of that. We have so much depth and talent in every position. So, you know, it's going to be tough. It's going to be, you know, take some guts and commitment from the players to give us coaches headaches. I think Coach said we had like 40-something players potentially. Like, I don't want to say, okay, if we have to select 23, here's the 23 that's been training. I want to say, here's the best 23, you know, that we can take, that we feel is going to represent Bermuda well.
Let me ask you guys something about the group at IMG, because they're from 15 through to 19. How have you seen their development over the course of the last 2 years in the likes of Jaden Masters, young Medeiros, and Chechule?
Well, Jaden's a very talented, hard-working individual. Jaden left Bermuda at 12 to go to IMG, and you know, a lot of times in the past, and I was probably guilty of it as well, players going overseas and then coming back, and it's like, what you've been doing overseas? That's not the case. Chechule the same way. Chechule has matured. She has grown in the game, and Caitlin as well. You know, still some technical things that all have to fix, but definitely have seen the growth in those players. And you know, you speak about a Jaden Masters who had 3 ACL tears. You know, and now if you see on the field, I mean, she's striking the ball probably better than most. She's probably striking the ball better than most guys, right? And that's been grit and determination, and a lot of it has been through encouragement at IMG. The thing is, I feel like the prep schools are better. And you know, it may be the fact that they're still developing at the prep school level, where most of the time it was college level, where players were kind of like, I'm arrived, you know, I'm in college. When they're getting them at the prep school level and getting them in those environments, you know, they're gonna develop. Yeah. So IMG have helped. They have helped. And we haven't seen Caitlin or Chechele yet, since they've been back, obviously quarantining. But Jaden's been back since early November, and most definitely matured.
Okay.
Hey, two-part questions for you guys. The first question would be, how receptive are the older players giving information or receiving information from the young, the local bound girls? Because obviously, you know, as you always want to know more from the person who's experiencing more. And then the second part would be, how are you guys going to manage? Obviously, we've spoken with Coach Lightbourne regarding the men's team, how difficult it is getting those foreign-based players back to train, with the window that you have, with the COVID protocols. Are you guys sharing resources, how you can make these things happen to bring these girls back into the field?
The first thing is, I know you're itching to answer that first part, but I promise not to steal your thunder. The first question, right, is I'll speak to the fact that we've always had overlapping. Yeah, so at under 17, we had under 15s. At under 20, Coach Jenkins at the under 20s in Bermuda. Jada Masters was 12 or 13, I believe, and played the entire tournament with the under 20s. So now it's natural, right? So and the girls that haven't been training, the senior players that haven't been training, now coming into what is sort of a new setup, is I don't see it being an issue because they understand that these girls have had more experience, and through no fault of the senior players, there haven't been the competitions for them. So these younger players have had some experience. Of course, it's gonna be, hey, you're younger than me, you know what I mean? But we understand the personalities of these girls, and I truly think that they are going to. It's gonna be fine. And your second question, yes, we had a wonderful meeting last night actually, with the senior men's national team, and I mean, I left. I was ready to go up to the field, trying to light someone and have a session because I was like, I need to see if this works. You know what I mean? I want to see this. I want to see this actually in person. And Kyle, Ray, Morty, Maurice, they inspired me and got me even more excited about what's happening. But Dankins, I know you want to hit that under 17, that young old situation.
You hit most of the points with it. I was mainly going to talk about the overlap. We've been overlapping players, so I think we took Danny on a U20 tournament when she was 13. So we've always had that overlap. The senior players, so the Avas, they respect the program, they respect the coaches, and they respect the process. So they know that football is a game of learning. So they just come in, they're mature. And they listen to everything and everybody. So this group, the maturity level from top to bottom is awesome. Where we don't have this, we don't have too much of those issues. It's not an ego driven. They understand that it's us. We are going to win or we are going to lose. And it's always been that attitude with this group. So we don't have those issues. And for the second part, we have Vance Brown. Vance works magic. He works magic getting people all over the world and getting them back. So it may be a challenge, especially if some of the games are earlier, some of the practice matches. But Vance works magic. So I mean, I have no doubt that we're going to be able to get the players that we need when we need them, and that they're going to be fine.
Papa Vance.
I don't know about with this COVID, but
hey,
I don't know if this COVID.
He got girls out of Nicaragua. We don't know yet. You got people out of Nicaragua. Very limited access to anything. So I agree with Aaron. the magicians are on board, so we'll be all right.
All right. Well, I do want to juggler. Any final questions?
Last final question for you guys. All of you guys, let's say you're all been seasoned in the women's game right now. But just thinking about it now, going back to even 2012, to have this many foreign-based players, ladies playing overseas. I mean, you guys kind of always picture yourself like, man, Keita, and especially Keita, when you was playing. I mean, a good bit of you girls would have had this. If you would have had this opportunity, you definitely would have taken it back there, wouldn't you?
Definitely, and not only that, Jace. The fact tonight I had my son, his friend, and I had Jaden at the field doing some finishing, and at the end we were talking, and I said, Jaden, do you know that it's over 40 girls to choose from? Period. I said we have never. I mean, I remember Vance having to take the 20 people that showed up. You probably didn't know how to tie your boots, but he had to take you. To have this, yeah. In 2012, I wouldn't have envisioned that we would be in this space, and we have to also give credit to the association, to the women's committee, to Sharice and stuff, because this group is good. You got to see what's coming behind. Even the next under 17 group, that is going to be amazing. And so, this is just the beginning. And this is why I say that this is not a 2021, 22, 23. This is a 2030. You're going to be seeing that under 9 or that under 11 player on this stage as well, and be like, wow, look where we have come. So that's the good part about it.
Well, I encourage you guys to stay positive, keep the girls motivated, and keep enjoying it, because I think that's what keeps them coming back. The fact that you guys make training and even playing up against some of the opposition that they will eventually face, that some people wouldn't even give them hope. But they are encouraged because they encourage themselves, and they have more fun. I've seen them. They have more fun with each other than they do with, like you say, if it was one person watching. They encourage each other. So there's no hope. There's no doubt about what they're able to do amongst themselves.
Yes.
All right. I do want to thank you all for your time. We're going to take another commercial break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by our overseas reporter in Vernon A. Springer. We'll be back.
Every resident of Bermuda deserves to spend their final days with dignity. They also deserve access to privacy for themselves and their loved ones. Although Agape House has lovingly wrapped its arms around thousands of patients and their families, it can no longer meet the needs of our community. There is an urgent need for a new facility, and we need your help to make that happen. Donate today by going to agiftforagape.com or calling 232-0859. Help give Agape House a new home. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Hi, this is Vernon Springer from Vast Sports Media in St. John's and Tegan Barbuda for Island Start Sports. It has been more or less realistically quiet time in the Leeward Islands outside of the last time that I spoke to you in terms of the Antigua Barbuda Cricket Association 10 Splash, which is now heading into its final week. You also have the Nevis Cricket Association, who is hosting their T20 tournament, and the St. Kitts Cricket Association, they have started a second competition for the year, which is a 10-10 tournament. In terms of cricket in St. Martin, they have some active games taking place both in Anguilla and St. Martin. Montserrat, the youngsters are just basically practicing because of the population-wise, so they have two teams going, nothing really major coming up. As you know, Montserrat and St. Kitts and Nevis, they celebrate Christmas and Carnival. So you have Calypso eliminations which have taken place already, so the finalists have been selected for both Montserrat and St. Kitts and Nevis. In Montserrat, I think it's going to be a one-song competition, and also in St. Kitts and Nevis for the 49th edition of Sugar Mass, there are going to be some 20 Calypsonians coming up against King Socrates in the Calypso competition, which is going to be a virtual Calypso competition. In terms of the West Indies performance, I think that is an understatement, and I think that the time has come where really we have to maybe just figure out in terms of how we're going to be building for our test team going forward, maybe in the next couple of 5 years' time. Our expectations as Caribbean people is that we think that we're supposed to be able to win. But you can't win if the cricketers don't get the maturity and the exposure to go to New Zealand, to go to Australia, to go to England. When we dominated the world, most of our international cricketers played in England. Once that door was shut on us, it's made a real major impact on West Indies cricket. So you would have to give some credit to New Zealand, because New Zealand have not lost 15 games at home during the test series. In fact, they have won 11 test matches. So that's a remarkable achievement. I am looking forward to see the Pakistan-New Zealand series. I think that is going to be exciting. I'm also looking forward to see the Australia and India series. In terms of the West Indies cricket, I think that the tour which is on for Bangladesh, the West Indies team will have to be able to kind of rethink their method. I don't see Bradford going to that. I see maybe an elevation where maybe they could look at having someone maybe like, let's say, a Shimon Hetmeyer maybe open the innings, maybe even a Rakeem Cornwall maybe go and open the innings as becomes an opener. I don't think you have to generally stick to your tradition by saying, hey, this is what we're going to do and we're just going to stick into that order. Maybe you can just create another two openers. Nicholas Poran certainly should be on that trip. I personally feel that Shamar Brooks is an investment, and I think West Indies really should concentrate on having Shamar Brooks bat at number 3. The work ethic and the attitude and the demeanor of Darren Bravo, I don't know. He doesn't look like somebody who is enjoying his cricket. I think the West Indies maybe need to kind of look at that. Holder, he could be on his last way, because if he doesn't do well in Bangladesh, I think the time has come for us to be able to start to invest in a new captain, and my captain would be Shimon Hetmyer. I think that would be good. You have people like Zari Joseph, Shema Holder. Those guys all played in the same team, Nicholas Puran. And you got a young cadre of young players coming up around. Maybe, it's time for us to maybe relieve Holder of that test captaincy and allow him to maybe just come and just concentrate on his own game, mentally and physically, rather than having to be able to deal with all of the other things around him. I think maybe we might get more out of him. But going to Bangladesh, I think that he also has to step up to the plate. Sometimes I think that the captain himself level of confidence. You got to sometimes step out like a tiger. You got to lead. You've been complaining about the batters not doing this, the batters not doing that. Well, Jason Holder is our best test batsman based on average. And maybe the time has come where he maybe just decided, hey, listen, I'm going to go on back 5. I'm going to go and show the guys what is required. He tried that in the second innings of the second test against New Zealand. He maybe just needs to do that more often. But in terms of sports, I think everybody is just looking for the Christmas holidays where they can be able to just have some fun, relax, wind down, and then get ready to see what is going to be happening for the 2021 season. Let me take some time also to congratulate the new executive of the Bermuda Cricket Board, and to also the outgoing president, and to wish them all the best as they look to be able to move cricket forward. This is Vernon Springer for Vast Sports Media from St. John's Antigua for Island Stats in Bermuda.
Well, Jay, we heard from Vernon A, and there's a lot going on in cricket in the West Indies, but we also have a lot going on in our cricket as well. We have the men's T20 World Cup qualifiers to take place in July. We have the World Cricket League, it just announced today, that will take place in Uganda in September. I'm sorry, in Jersey in September. And then in February of 2022, they got to go off to Uganda. The under-19s are due to play the America's 50-over World Cup qualifiers in August. So the Cricket Board have a monumental task coming up for international, let alone they still have to put together a structured domestic season.
Yes, challenges. And to see that announcement today about the game in Jersey,
Yes.
September 1st. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we won't be that much removed from our cup match, which will be approximately a month prior to that. So how many players are be putting themselves forward not only for the national squad, but who before the national squad be looking to be playing cup match, because you will want to have your best players playing for your national squad. You also want to have our best players playing for cup match. With these tournaments going on, it's going to be interesting who's going to make themselves available and make themselves available for the commitment, because we talked about football earlier. Not just football, but all the sports. We're hearing about boxing also today. In the next couple of years, for a national team player in whatever sport, they're going to have to be committed from almost day one for the buy-in, because there's going to be so much that's going to be asked from them in I want to say a short amount of time, but a very compact amount of time.
Yeah. You talk about cup match. The tournament that precedes cup match is July 17th to July 23rd.
Yes.
That tournament is the T20 America's Regional World Cup qualifiers, and that is actually the week before cup match,
which is normally
the final day is the day the teams get picked. And the week before that is the final the second Eastern round of Eastern County. All of that's going to play into how, and you're right, who's going to make themselves available, who's going to be committed to what you need to be committed to. And you know what, Jay, we could sit here and we could say, yeah, you should be committed to the national program, which that's near and dear to our hearts. But you have some people that are committed to the club that has given them all the opportunities to do whatever they can. So
Earl, I'm glad you said that. Earl, I'm also glad you said that. I think we're also leaving on one other area. We are amateurs, right? And let's think about it. The economic effects of COVID on our families. So it might be some of our best players might not be in the financial standing
to commit.
Commit.
Yeah. They can commit to the domestic because it's the amateur side, but not commit to the
and that's the realization. That's the realization that we're going to have, because obviously, what I haven't heard, and I was going to mention it with the boxing, but even with cricket, what I haven't heard are major organizations is sponsorship being attached to them. Major sponsorship.
We only sponsor the professional guys who are coming in. We don't put money
like
into
I said. And when I say this, sir, because when you're talking about if a player's got to make a decision, should I be committed to train 4 times a week, gym sessions, and the whole 9, but I need to go do this extra job, the second job, the security job at night, or whatever the case may be, to make sure that my kids or whatever, whatever the case may be, their financial constraints are. It's gonna be a no-brainer. So without that, maybe that extra financial assistance, which could probably offset some of that cost or be an incentive to commit, it's gonna be some challenges.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Jay, we've come to the end of another edition of the Island Stat Sports Show. We'll be back next Wednesday to I guess talk more about what's going on around this country, and obviously it'll be the week of Christmas, so we'll exchange the pleasantries and all that next week.
Well, I don't know who's gonna show up. I don't know who's coming this year, but anyway.
Well, Santa can't come to so many houses because of COVID. So.
Yeah, I don't know how they gonna make it. By the time we get out of quarantine, it'll be New Year's.
Yeah.
Not sure how that's gonna work.
Can't even drop a present down the chimney because the box has got to be quarantined.
All right, before we go, I just want to make mention, because just listening through the playing back this interview while I was in commercial break, one thing that stood out to my mind with the 2 interviews today is the consistency of the association's hard work over the years. And when you have people in place consistently, especially when you look at the girls' football, those 3 coaches have been together for a long time. And you can see if there's consistency in any program, you're going to have these accolades, you're going to have these successes. And, we all say, follow the process, respect the process. We're always coaching that. We're always coaching that to the kids. But this is something that is living proof that these 3, whether they might agree or to disagree at times, but they're being consistent in their message. And to see, like I said, I remember many years ago to watch those guys, Keita and likes of Siobhan Ferber and these play, to see what we're producing now. Man, it's some good feelings.
Yeah. I mean, I get, you could hear the excitement in all 3 of them's voices that they're chomping at the bit for 2021 to come in, and just the know-how of the players that they're going to have at their fingertips. They ain't going to need to motivate these girls. They just need to put them in a structure.
Yeah.
Because they're excited now that they have something to strive for. And I know in speaking with Karina LeBlanc, the chairperson of the CONCACAF Women's Committee, she's just as excited for the Bermuda girls, because she's had the opportunity to come here, talk to the girls, talk to their parents, and just got that vibe that they have a sense of pride and want to do well for themselves and each other. So, I can't wait for these things to come to fruition, because, in all, I think these girls are going to really do Bermuda proud, as they have before, and they'll continue to do.
team.
Yeah. So with that, have a good night, buddy.
Good stuff.
Yes.